Hi Joe, I thought I would use your image to show you how to use the eyedropper tool. And I noticed some other things about this image that we want to correct as well. So let's just go through them now. When I look at the histogram up here, it tells me that you've got some black clipping, which means there's no data in those areas wherever it's clipped. And then you've got some room here in the highlights on your histogram, which tells me that this image is underexposed. So the first thing I want to do is go down to the exposure slider and pull it up. And it doesn't have to go all the way to the border, but we want it to go much farther. I could also use whites and highlights, but we want to use those to control any blowouts or anything that we may have. So we'll keep those about where they are now. So now let's take a look at your white balance. Because I downloaded this from Facebook, it's showing the temperature and the tint here at 0, but you'll see different values on your computer. What I want to look at when I use the eyedropper tool are a couple of things. One, I want to look at, in this little box, you can see at the bottom there are 3 numbers. R84.2, G87.3, and B80.3. Those numbers stand for red, green, and blue in your image. Everywhere that I hover on your image shows the green value to be higher than the other 2. Ideally, we want the red to be the highest, then green, and then blue to be the lowest. But in this situation where we're working with white, we want those values to all be pretty close to the same. So if I move the eyedropper tool over to a shaded area, I always want to use a shaded area, not a highlighted area. I'm looking for gray, and really anything between white, which would be 100% to black, which is 0. Anything in that range should help you with your white balance. If the whites and the neutrals that you're looking at do not have tinges of blue or red or other colors in them. These gloves, I'm sure, are very white. And so if I go to a shaded area rather than a very white area, I want to look at those numbers. And in this case, I've got 79.6, 83.2, and 80. So you can see again, the green is too high. Let's try a little shaded area over here on the finger. Again, the middle number for green is too high. Now the beauty of the eyedropper tool is that I can click on one of these shaded areas, and I'll go to a kind of a dark area, and it will correct or closely correct the white balance for me. So I'll click there, and immediately it changes the gloves much whiter. It's added a lot of magenta that we talked about earlier. So if you look at the temperature and the temp here, it's warmed it up by 4, so it wasn't that it was so cool, but the green was definitely in need of correction. We've got a plus 35. So let's look at them side by side now. You can see the image on the left is the original. It's underexposed and it's too green looking. So by making those corrections, we have a better exposed image and we have corrected white balance. Now, if you're looking for a very moody image, you might want to bring those whites down, and that's perfectly fine. I would do that with the white or the highlight slider and not the exposure slider. So let's bring whites down because I had pushed those up a bit. We can bring that down a bit and bring the highlights down. And then we can see a little more of the texture and the seaming in the backs of the gloves here. You don't want to bring those sliders down too far, or your image will begin to look very, very flat. Now, if this feels too bright to you, it's okay to go ahead and move the shadows down. We don't want any clipping though, if we can keep from having any clipping. And really, I think this is a much better exposed and image, and the white balance is now corrected. Now, another thing that you can do, which I kind of shy away from myself, is you can go to this area here where it says white balance and custom. We just did a custom white balance, but you could also try the auto white balance, and let's see what Lightroom will do with that. It brought the yellow up a little bit and the tint down a little bit. And then we can go back to as shot, and that's where the green really shows. So let's go back to our custom white balance. I think this looks correct to my eye, and hopefully that gives you an idea of how to go about checking the white balance on your images. You really need a neutral white, anything from white to black, any of the grays in between will help you with the white balance. So by using the eyedropper tool, go to a shaded area and select there. I hope that helps, Joe, and I look forward to seeing your work the rest of the week.